Oh my gosh, so the most commonly asked question that I get, being someone who talks sex day in, day out, is what is up with a squirting orgasm? What is it? Is it real? Is it pee? What's happening? Can every woman do it? What's going on? And so I am going to quickly give you as much comprehensive information as I possibly can on what a female squirting orgasm is, including female ejaculation. So here's the thing. Everything that I could share with you right now very well could be completely dismantled and just completely pulled apart in like 5 to 10 years because scientists keep trying to figure out if this is real, right, or not. And the crazy thing is that you will find so much information saying that female orgasm and even the G-spot is completely not real. And then you will find equal amount of information that says all of that stuff is real. And then I say, can we see exactly all of these people, these scientists, are they men or women? Because when you speak to women, why don't you just take us for our word and we can tell you what's happening with our bodies? So anyway, to give you a basic understanding of what is happening when it comes, as far as we know now, basically what is happening, I drew you a picture. Let's pretend that this is the vulva area. You've got your labia, the inner and outer labia. This little guy that looks like a wishbone, right? This is what you can see of the clitoris, but it's really kind of the shape of a wishbone. And then there's also these glands that are hanging underneath. And that is the basic structure of the clitoris as a whole. It's big, but you only see the little pleasure button on the outside. And fun fact is that it actually retracts whenever you're sexually aroused. And all of this stuff gets bigger when you're aroused because blood flows to this area. So next, and I forgot the butthole. So you have the vaginal opening, right? You know that things like the demonstration dildo, real penises, and children, they happen in that area. The butt, well, I spoke about anal sex and the butt in the other video. And then this little area right here, that's your pee hole. That's where you wind up peeing. Now the thing is, right, that's your urethra. When you take fingers, let's say for an example, and you put them inside of the vagina and you kind of go in that come here motion, that is what we are, up to this point, we've been calling that your G-spot, right? You can kind of pinpoint where that is. On the top, up against the front part of the pubococcyx bone. So anyway, in that area right there's that little area of soft tissue. It is what we're looking at now. We believe that it's all mapped out, that a lot of these pieces and parts converge in that area, and it makes it very, very, very sensitive. For some women, not all women. And sadly, someone by the name of Sigmund Freud, he really kind of fucked us up when it came to prioritizing and ranking orgasm and what was basically understood as to be an immature version of orgasm, which was only by the clitoris, and a more mature orgasm, which was stimulating that Grafenberg spot, which I'm not sure if I mentioned that yet. The G-spot it wasn't just given that name just for fun. It was actually the gynecologist that discovered it. His name was Ernst Grafenberg. So that is what that little spot is. So what we're looking at is, right, they're all kind of converging in this spot, and when you stimulate that area, you also wind up stimulating everything else that is around the area. And we've just recently figured out that urethra, that tube, your pee tube, happens to have these little vestibules on the outside of it that basically lead into the urethra, and they're called the Skene's gland. That's our would-be prostate. If we would have been biosex males instead of biosex females, then that would have been our prostate. And so we know now that when you stimulate that, it does release some fluid, and that ejaculate can come through the tube that we normally pee out of and come out as female ejaculate. Only a spoonful or so is actually glandular fluid that is female ejaculate from the Skene's gland. The rest of it still to be determined, but since it comes through the urethra, there is a portion of that squirting of the big gushes that winds up being pee. so what if it's pee? That's what I say. If you like it, if your partner enjoys it, if you're having an amazing experience, it doesn't matter if it's pee or not. But the thing is that it does have a little bit of pee, but it's like the really diluted version of it. And the thing is that some women want to find out, like, how do I achieve the female orgasm, a female ejaculation? The thing is that some women can do it and some women cannot, and that's perfectly fine. What if you didn't have those little Skene's glands? Some women produce a lot of fluid and some women do not. And, you know, there's a lot of different degrees here. Some women understand gushing or squirting orgasms as being something that they feel shame for because they're just not quite sure what's happening with their body. And a lot of times when you squirt for the first time, you're like, whoa, what the fuck was that? Like, literally, did I just pee to myself? And then sometimes, right, because you've done the work of figuring out how your body works, or you watch one of my awesome videos or read one of my cool posts, maybe one could hope, right? And you realize, right, that this is something that is cool and a lot of people like it. So, you know, that you actually enjoy that time and it doesn't wind up being a traumatic experience. So the thing is that if you wind up stimulating the G-spot and you're breathing, you're getting into it, and you basically surrender to that pleasure, and you stimulate it, or it is stimulated properly, then you can wind up having that that squirting or that gushing orgasm. Now, say for an example, I will give you, okay, let's pretend that the urethral opening is here, just like I kind of imagined this was the anus in the other video, and you have the penis here. Now, it is said, well, not said because I've experienced this as well, but I'm just going to say that it's said, when you wind up kind of taking the penis and rubbing it very vigorously, but also very softly around the opening, that you can actually wind up making this happen. But you do have to properly stimulate the G-spot beforehand. There is a bit of technique that goes into this. If you want to know more about how to achieve it, or you want like to actually work on trying to make this happen, again, like anal sex and any of the other play, I recommend that you try to figure it out for yourself first. And if you want like specifics on how to try to achieve that, well, reach out to me. You know, I'd be happy to work with you on that. Most women can do this. I'm not going to say all because every body is different, but I hope that gives you a little bit of clarity. Now, if you haven't experienced it yet, don't feel any pressure. You know what? Say fuck off, Freud. Okay? And just enjoy whatever kind of orgasm you have. Every woman has different neural pathways that lead out of their vagina and throughout their genitals and all the way to their anus, including the perineum. So just have an orgasm and submit to pleasure in any way, shape, or form that happens for you. But anyway, any more questions about the G-spot, Skene's gland, female prostate, female ejaculation, drop them in the comments below. And of course, I hope that you have an amazing, sexy time, no matter what happens, that you are safe, sane, and consensual in the process, and then you can feel free to reach out to me anytime.